Alright, today we're having a look at花咲かリビッツby FULEN. Alright, so here we are in花咲かリビッツby FULEN, and I actually played the second part of this level. There's no music. Now, it might be that the Gardens track is a bit wonky, because I've heard that. Oh, but there we go. I played the second level in this series, LBP2 level, and I really enjoyed it, although I did feel like it kind of went on a little bit over long. So I was thinking, like, maybe we hardly ever look at LBP1 levels on the LittleBigPlanet, so I figured, like, why not give it a shot? That level had a lot of, like, simple interactions, pretty solid on gameplay, and grappling hook, which of course we're not going to be seeing grappling hook here, but I'm imagining that it's going to be at least slightly similar. Why are you here? I wonder. We're going to... There were like a lot of little things that you could miss in花咲かリビッツFULEN,花咲かリビッツ 2, so I'm wondering if there's a similar deal here. But like, okay, there's a tag here. Oh, that's gonna go down. Oh, I can see the curved material. Alright, so that's gonna come into play later. I noticed that there's stuff up top, and I want it. I want it precious. Oh, I like it. Yo, I can rock with this. I can rock with this. That's not... I feel like I want a little bit of a stronger word, but this is a Addams Family friendly show, so we try not to use the really salty language. Okay, I know what's going on. I like this. This is like, it's not really puzzly, but those kind of like simple level interactions that you've got going on, we saw a lot in LBP1 levels, and I really think it works quite well. So this is going to come down here, nifty. Then you're going to come over here. This is like it's a bit of a chunkier bit of interaction than you usually do see, and I enjoy that. I enjoy a bit of chunk. There was like a lot of that in花咲かリビッツ 2 as well, where you'd have to get things to work, you'd have to pull off little puzzles, and then it would cause the level to bloom. And I think that is just fancy. That's not where I need to go, though. Oh my god, we've only got like 30 seconds. Okay, rush it. Sorry about the voice, like my throat is really not doing great recently, and it is affecting my voice, and it's making me very self-conscious, but that is the way she goes sometimes. Love this. Actually, in something similar to this in a level that I'm working on right now, but this is charming. It's like it's not particularly fast-paced. Not gonna lie. We're not like zooming along, but ooh, don't want to go down there yet. There's gotta be... Oh, fudge. Okay, that's the timer. We're gonna go back to the hub. We're gonna talk about this, but I really have enjoyed it so far. We'll see you there. See yas. And we're back in花咲かリビッツ, or Bloomin' Sack Things by FULEN, and I'd say it's a really solid yellow square. I enjoyed myself. Level, I do feel like it has some issues, but there's a lot to recommend it, and it's really well done for an LBP1 level. It's big, it's chunky, there's lots going on. Yeah, like this is it's a really fun one, and I do recommend giving it a shot. What we see is a lot of what we saw in the first half of the level is a lot of what we saw in the first impressions bit, where you're kind of navigating this environment, and you've got like small level interactions, environmental interactions, pushing, blocks onto switches. Well, you get these like round blocks that you're kind of rolling into switch pedestal-y kind of things, and they'll open up something, or they'll allow you to progress in some way. A lot of times, and something that I saw in the follow-up to this, the LBP2 follow-up to this,花咲かリビッツ 2, and it's, you got these bits where when you trigger whatever effect, like whatever progress point that you're going to be dealing with, whatever triggery thing you're going to be dealing with, like it'll make flowers bloom around the screen, and I thought that was really nice. It's like, it's a small detail, it's a cute detail, but like it does make the level feel a little bit warmer and a little bit homier, and I did like that. And kind of going along with that in the presentation department, and I really like the material choices and the color choices of those materials in this level. I mean, I know that they're kind of standard, you know, you've just got your base green grass, and you've got that kind of like wooden slat material, but like I do think that the colors complement each other really well, and they do give this level a feeling of warmth and a feeling of kind of like being outdoors and in the sunshine, and I really like that. It's something that, like, while I feel that the material choices and presentations in the follow-up level are themselves also quite good, it does lend it a bit of a darker tone. Like, you don't get that kind of we're outside enjoying the sunlight type of vibe that you do from this one, and I like it better in this level, I find. I found in the gameplay department, in the bits that we played, the bits that we saw in the first impression section, and it's like, it's really chill, it's really cruisy, there's nothing or almost nothing that's going to kill you in that part. And like, it's cool. It does make the level feel a little bit like draggy, and I did find one point against in the level was I did find that the pacing of the level did feel a little bit over slow. You've got like fairly large areas that you're traversing, and a lot of times that you're dealing with those with objects that are on timers, like are on pistons that are moving. There's like a neat bit that you got on these running bits of material, and you've actually they're rotating bits of material that are going back and forth. You've got to jump onto them and run so that you don't fall off the material, and like they're cool little platforms. I like those platforms, but like the timers are pretty slow, they're pretty gentle, and if you're kind of timed with them, or you're not dropping off, you're not falling, then you know you can get yourself along relatively at a good pace. But like, if you miss the timing, or if like you wait because you're worried you're going to make the jump the first time, and you've got to like wait quite a while to get back. And you've got like other areas where there's fairly big wheels, and you'll be either grabbing on the outside of them or on the inside of them to kind of go up the level in this section, and they are big, so like if you miss what you're doing, and then you got to grab from the bottom, and it's like, it's quite a trip to get back to where you were. And it's not like a problem, it doesn't, you know, it's not going to kill you or anything like that, but like it does feel a little bit slow. And I did notice that the level did feel a little bit slow in that first half of the section, the first half of the level, and there was only one bit that like really was a big question mark for me, where there's a secret area that I simply could not find any way to access. You can see these score bubbles that are sitting off to the side, and there's a few flower stickers, you know, around, and it looks like there should be a space there to put a sticker switch, but I went into my Pop-It, and you know, there's nothing listed there as a sticker switch, and it didn't, like, just putting any old sticker there didn't seem to trigger it. I don't know what was going on with that bit, but that was weird. I didn't like that part so much. Now I have been talking about how it's kind of like first half and second half, because you do get to a point where you're in a more sort of like enclosed area. There's a lot more of the wooden paneling in the environment, almost like you're going into these crates, and like it does feel like that section's gameplay is fairly distinct from the first section's gameplay. You've got a lot more hazard in that area, like a lot of spikes, some fairly tricky jumps if you want to get some extra points, where like there'll be 2 or 3 sets of spikes that you're gonna have to jump over, and you've got like, you can just make it, but it's really easy to muff those jumps and get yourself killed. Like, that's not an issue, because those are clearly bonus points. Like, if you let them go, there's no problems there. In that section, now you're dealing with like a lot of these platforms where you've got grabby bits on the bottom, and the platforms will rotate like 180 degrees, so like the there'll be like a part with like spikes or a bit that you can run across on one side, and there'll be grabby bits on the other, and you've got to like kind of get yourself in the right position. You'll grab and rotate, and you'll be up on top, and you'll run back across over and grab the other bit, and then when you rotate along on the bottom, and it'll put you in the section, you put you in a place where you can jump off to the next progress point. And like that was a really neat concept, and I really liked it, but kind of going back to that pacing issue, and it just kind of like takes forever, and that's a pretty big chunk of that section is navigating those types of platforms. Like there's nothing wrong with them, they are like really kind of cool, but there's just like a lot of them, and it does feel pretty slow. In that section also, there is one bit where it's like, if you've been paying attention throughout the level, it's probably not going to catch you up too badly because you've already seen these platforms with spikes on them, so like guessing that there's spikes in this bit, not going to be too confusing. But because there's this like slatting, this like diamond mesh in the background, that it kind of makes the spikes a little bit difficult to see in that section. So like knowing if it's a longer strip or if it's a strip that you can hop over, and the first time that I went through, it took me a little bit longer than probably necessary to get through that section, because I wasn't able to tell that like the bit that I was trying to cross, there were spikes on either end on one side of the platform, and then there was a long strip of spikes on the other side, and I kept on registering it as a long strip of spikes on both sides. And so like it was a little bit visually difficult to parse. Not a big deal, but a deal. The level wraps up with this kind of like rotating maze bit where you're gonna have to be grabbing onto little sponge blocks to get these lights to turn on. You get all the lights to turn on, and it's going to make the wall disappear, and then you can leave that section, leave that level. It's actually, it's pretty neat, and it makes good usage of like both the floor and the ceiling as the mazy bit is rotating, because again, it's like flipping back and forth on like 180-degree flips, and like I really liked it. There's a little bit of going into the background as well, and you've got to be like in the right section so that the bit that you're entering will be where you need to be. And like, yeah, it's a neat bit. I thought it was really cool, and I felt that way about the whole level. I do think that it's a really cool, it's an enjoyable level. It's just like the one thing that does bring it down to me is that the pacing is, it feels like a slow level. I have talked a little bit about花咲かリビッツ 2, and I enjoy that one as well. It does have very similar pacing issues. It's got a lot of grappling hook usage, and I thought that was really, really cool. The bits where you get the flowers to bloom, some of them are actually quite difficult, and the last couple of them, like, I just kept on having to eat deaths because I couldn't quite figure out how to avoid the hazards in those sections. But they're all like infinite life checkpoints, so it's not like a really big deal, but it was a little bit annoying to eat those deaths. But I also recommend that level. I think that level is quite cool, and I think that FULEN is a really good creator, somebody I'd like to go back to for streams and maybe some more archive levels. But I think I've said pretty much everything I can say about this level. It's fun, it's LBP 1 era goodness. I think you'll have a really great time with it, and I recommend you give it a shot. But that does it for us here at Risuko About. So from me, Risuko, here in Tokyo, to all of you there to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao. Flowers.